Hello, folks. This is DragonKeeper. A couple weeks ago, you might remember I did a commentary of the 1954 animated adaptation of Animal Farm, due to Animal Farm being somewhat in the spotlight at the time, kind of, I guess. Well, I did say in that video that if there was any interest in me doing commentary on the the live action film adaptation, the one that was that aired on Hallmark in 1999, then I would do that. And pretty much right away, I had people coming forward like, do the Hallmark one. I'm like, okay, if you guys want me to do it, then I'll do it. So here we are doing it. Now, since I'm watching like two different adaptations of the same story pretty close in a row, I decided to go about this one a little differently. So while with most commentaries, including the one for the 54 version I did, I watched the film first by myself without recording so I'm familiar with the film, and then I go into the commentary already knowing everything that'll happen in it. This one is going about a little different. I did not watch this film right before recording like I usually did. The last time I saw this film was all the way when I was in 6th grade, when we first studied Animal Farm in my social studies class. So actually, I think it was a language arts class. Regardless, back when I studied Animal Farm in middle school was the first time I watched this. That was decades ago. I'm not going to tell you how many decades, because it's none of your business. But I'm going to this film relatively fresh. I did look up some things about the film before I went into it, so I'm not going in completely blind. And like I said, I did see this years ago, and I have a pretty good memory when it comes to film. I just haven't sat down and watched this all the way through since 6th grade in a classroom. So here I am watching this by myself now.
I could taste it in the water.
So the narrator talking here is this dog. Looks kind of like a Bernese Mountain Dog, but not quite. Some kind of Australian Shepherd probably is what she is.
But I could still remember.
This is a character from the book named Jessie, and she's the main character in this adaptation, even though she only barely got mentioned in the book occasionally. And the reason they made her the main character here is because of her puppies. Jessie and Bluebell in the book both give puppies, which Napoleon quickly takes and turns into his own secret police, basically is the equivalent. So in this story, the separation between Jessie and her puppies is a huge part of the emotional weight of the story. This story goes less for the fable / allegory thing that the book and the I don't want to say original movie, but the 54 movie did, and goes for more of a, I guess, kind of modernized character focused story. And in that regard, some of the allegory gets kind of lost. So the 54 version eliminated Mr. Jones' wife and just made him a bachelor living on a farm alone with a bunch of animals. Here, I guess this version... Oh wait, no, this isn't Mr. Jones. This is I think this is Mr. Pilkington, actually, what we're seeing here. We'll see Mr. Jones in a bit. I don't remember if Mr. Jones' wife makes it into this adaptation. Like I said, lots of stuff about this I don't remember. Hi, it's Moses! Hi, Moses! That's Boxer. So, this is an upload from YouTube that I'm using, so it's kind of low res. Not my fault. I'm sure not the uploader's fault either. It's on YouTube, you're watching... Oh, wow, those are some not neat lines. You know how in the book it says for the most part Mr. Jones was a competent farmer, if a hard master, right up until the period of famine, or that preceded the animals' revolt? Here he's doing crooked-ass lines, drinking while plowing. That doesn't even make sense. Wouldn't you want to stay hydrated if you're plowing outside? I mean, it's the one sunny day a year in the UK. You want to...
There's a meeting tonight, in the barn.
Okay, Jessie, I'll be there.
Very kind of you to invite us tonight.
Why aren't you British? So unlike in the 54 film where the setting was pretty ambiguous as to where exactly they were, this one is very firmly in rural England. There's nowhere else it could be. Just like the book. The song the animals all sing is called Beasts of England, after all. It's not called Beasts of Illinois,
Bye-bye, Jessie.
Beasts of Kansas, Beasts of Oklahoma. It's Beasts of England. And if you're thinking, that farmer, Mr. Jones here, looks kind of familiar. Well, that's Pete Postlethwaite, and the other movie that you probably recognize him from is James and the Giant Peach. He was, what's his name? The guy with the crocodile tongues. Sorry, it's been a while since I saw that movie, too. And the horse pulling the carriage here is Molly, a character who got left out of the 54 version. There is another horse there besides Boxer, but since the horse has no dialogue and no distinct character traits... Wow, I suck at plowing.
Come on, Boxer.
Both fields look perfectly straight to me.
Keep a line, damn you. Horse, steady, Boxer.
Oh, Boxer is making stock horse sound effects.
You stupid lump of dog flesh. You're a dead horse, Boxer. You're dog meat. You're for the glue factory. I'll hang you with my own glue.
That's foreshadowing, kids. Oh, now he's dead. I guess that was the rebellion. The farm is ours!
Thou shalt not kill.
He was hurting Boxer.
But no animal
Ah,
ever
CG.
human.
No human should
So, the Jim Henson Company worked on the puppetry in this film, and the puppets for the most part are... Oh, he does have a wife.
Jesse, go. Quick.
The puppets for the most part are really good, as you would expect from Jim Henson, but it switches between puppetry, like you see in this shot, and the CG, and the switch is pretty distracting. Like, maybe pick one method and stick with it instead of going back and forth. Drunken pig, again, foreshadowing. So because this is more like a modernized sort of adaptation, there are going to be a lot of scenes that are just not from the book, it's just them kind of making stuff up, so this thing has a more like modern storytelling kind of thing, as opposed to allegory. I do think this version is more divisive, whereas the 54 version, with its flaws and changes, are more on the slight end, and even though people recognize its history as a propaganda film, they do, like, think that it's the closest adaptation we have, and that's still true today. With this film, people are like, it did certain things really well, but certain things are just, like, very strange choices. I do like the atmosphere of doom and gloom that this one has. It really stuck with me when I saw this at, like, age 11, or however old I was. Yeah. This one, like the 54 version, and I think I already talked about the kind of the way this one ends, or maybe I didn't. This one also has a new ending, but considering recent historical events, I think the new ending is forgivable. Like, a lot of people on IMDb, I did a quick look up of some reviews just to see what people were saying about the film, because finding critical reviews for this film is not easy, since it's a TV film that aired in the late 90s. But some people on IMDb are complaining about the new ending, saying that it ruins the story. And I think the ending is forgivable when you remember the historical context that this film came out. This came out in '99. The Soviet Union fell less than a decade before this film came out, so it was still, like, relatively fresh in people's heads when this aired. So, like,
The wisest of us all has
it would be kind of easy to, like, come to the conclusion that it needs to be updated in regard of recent events. Because the fall of Soviet Russia was very abrupt and very unexpected. Nobody in America expected the Soviet Union to come to the end that it did, where it just kind of fell apart from within pretty peacefully. And that is referenced in the way the farm falls in this version. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Miserable, laborious, and short.
I don't even know if they bothered to have a real pig play Major. I think it's just the puppet the whole time.
Food as will sustain the breath in our bodies for the work we do.
So let me check Wikipedia real quick. Sorry about the rumble.
We are slaughtered with hideous.
Looking at the cast list here.
And who pray
Who's talking here?
for our suffering? Huh? Man,
And his companion,
in a man.
woman. Okay, so the actor voicing Old Major here is named Peter Ustinov. I was seeing if he was an actor I'm super familiar with. Not really. But he was King Richard in the Disney film Robin Hood, where all the characters are furries for some reason. So if you're like, oh, King Richard! Yeah, that's the actor. Now, the last Animal Farm film we watched, the 54 version, had only 2 actors. One of them went on to be very prolific, but neither of them, I would say, are big stars. This film very different. We have a lot of big stars in here. This, and unsurprisingly, because of the main characters, a lot of the biggest stars voice the animals. So, you will, probably the biggest name in this movie is Patrick Stewart, who voices Napoleon. Patrick Stewart is Napoleon, I can't wait. Ian Holm, Bilbo Baggins, is also in this as a very memorably creepy squealer. Like, they made Squealer really, really creepy in this version, which is kind of fun, but it kind of gets in the way of, like, Squealer was supposed to be, like a really persuasive and charismatic speaker, like someone that you want to listen to. This Squealer sounds like he drowns babies in his spare time. Hi, Muriel. Good to see you get lines in this version. Molly, the horse with the flowers in her name we saw earlier, is played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I think that's how you pronounce her name, who was on SNL for a long time. Big comedic actress.
And who will braid it with ribbons?
Here, did I hear someone say ribbons? I could get ribbons. I could get anything.
Ah, bad CG.
You shouldn't care about looking pretty for humans.
But
I think the rat character is new in this version. There aren't any named rats in the original.
No trade.
Amongst us animals.
Wait, the rat was already engaged in trade before the revolution? That's confusing.
All animals are friends. All humans are
Except for
friends.
except for fucking toads. Am I right? Fuck toads! You ever seen I don't even remember what the name of the show was. It was like a sketch show on YouTube, and one of the sketches was David Attenborough hates toads. Look it up if you haven't seen it. It's really funny. Ah, yes. It's a British evening after all.
We'll have to stay over, Mr. J.
Happy anniversary, Mr. J. So is he fucking Mrs. Pilkington? Why add this? There's no allegorical meaning for this. It's just stuff. Oh, I guess they're not fucking. Look at his suspenders. Every once in a while, I see a man wearing suspenders, and I'm like, whoa, they still exist after all.
Wake up. I can't pay you. You've got to give me more time. If you can see a way clear to lending me another 100 or so, just for a month.
100 pounds? How far is that going to go on a farm? And
Your help.
I assume this is supposed to be modern day, or maybe not.
Help. Yeah.
So yeah, in this version, Mr. Jones is in debt to Mr. Pilkington. Now, if you remember the context of the original story, Mr. Jones allegorically represents Tsar Nicholas II, where Mr. Pilkington represents FDR. I guess that... I actually don't remember, like, if we're talking about the lead up to the revolution, which was World War I, was Russia on the same side as the UK in that war? Because the UK was the main party that America was supporting before they joined the war themselves.
Don't worry. He'll be out for the night.
Oh, she does want to fuck Mr. Jones. Something about those cheekbones, man. It's just irresistible.
I will tell you about the end of my dream. And a song
Okay.
came to me. It's a song you must learn. It's a song of justice.
It's very near and dear to my creators. It goes, why are there so many?
Rise up and ready for the fight.
It seems like they rewrote the lyrics to Beast of England here. Well, but the song didn't have lyrics at all in the 54 version, so I guess this is an improvement. It's not hard to attach just... Oh god, please don't cut to farmer sex while they're singing Beasts of England. Oh, thank god we didn't see that. Because, you know, Hallmark would show a real R-rated sex scene. We are puppets! All puppets are equal. Some puppets are more equal than others. Oh, are the animals singing freedom anthems out there? Last week I caught them singing Marseillaise. I had to shut that shit down. It's a chorus of stock sound effects. So this is the most infamous of Major's death in various adaptations. Like I said in the last point, in the book it clearly says, whoops! Major died peacefully in his sleep 3 days after giving this speech. Here... Wait, did I shoot something? You couldn't hit the broadside of a... Oh, I see. I didn't just kill one of my own prize animals, did I? Yeah, foxes, that's what happened. All animals are friends, except for damn foxes! With their 9 tails and their fire magic and... Wait, I think I'm confused.
Was our revolution over before it had...
Boom! Shot! And then he, like, does this, like, backflip backwards. Right on his face. I do remember that. Major died peacefully in his sleep, said George Orwell. The fucking liar. This was his favorite place to shit. And they go a step further. Look, even Molly is mourning him. No, Molly is presented as very vapid and, like, not really in the spirit of evolution. You probably heard her earlier asking stupid questions like, will I get sugar after the revolution? They're like, no, Molly, sugar is processed food, therefore it is of man, therefore it is evil. I do remember being really upset by the scene of him butchering Old Major.
Only the here and now. We must work to make this life better.
So, when I said in the 54 film, wait,
Always remember that Old Major died for every one of us.
please remember it's Patrick Stewart doing this
Each have a
voice.
duty to him.
Ah!
Revolution!
Shut up, Wesley! Patrick Stewart, like, people, I think everyone recognizes him as a great actor. Like, that's not that's not contested. But, like, people, when they talk about Patrick Stewart, they usually either think of, like, his Picard performance or his Professor X performance. And, like, neither of them, you know, they're kind of similar characters in a lot of ways, and they have similar voices, but I think people forget just the full range, especially, like, the vocal range of what Sir Stewart here is capable of. Like, people forget that he was the bad guy in the Jimmy Neutron movie, and he was, the pirate book in... Oh my god! I was not expecting him to offer a rack of Old Major's ribs to Jesse. Yeah. In this new utopia that Old Major outlined, what are the animals supposed to eat? If all animals are friends, what are the dogs and cats and other carnivores supposed to eat? Is it going to be like in Beastars, where, like, the carnivores are supposed to be on an all-egg diet? I don't... Whatever. I'm going to need more water soon. I'm already almost out. So one other change that I'm already noticing is that, like, the farmers are, like, looking at the animals behaving, like, not in ways that you would expect animals to react in real life, like all, like, singing in the barn at the top of their voices, or which he hears as animal sounds, and then, like, refusing to eat a rack of ribs from a freshly killed pig. It's like, what is up with the dog? So, like, there's an aspect here that the animals can't talk to the humans at first, which does not seem to be the case in the Animal Farm book. Like, nothing is ever said about it being strange that animals can suddenly, like, talk to and do trade and make deals with humans. It's just, like, taken in stride due to the, like, the fairy tale nature of, like, the narration and the style of storytelling. Here, like, I guess it's kind of shown as, like, an evolution of the animals, that the humans, they, like, become more and more human-like to the point where humans can hear them talking. And it's, like, a weird thing to add, like, adding in the logic of how it works. Because, like, this isn't really a story that relies a lot on that kind of logic. Like, well, how do they know what the pigs are saying? Like, you're not really supposed to question that part of it. Because it's allegory. So Mr. Jones is really slipping up on his duties, not feeding or milking the animals. Drunken singing. In this part of England, the only type of singing there is.
Mr. Jones, what about the animal?
Come on. Can you throw us some oats? Maybe some barley? Some hay? Something with corn in it. Throw us a bone, will you? Maybe if I whine and bark? And scratch at the door? Or maybe he'll just shoot me too. Look at that television. Petty.
It's in the food store.
So this is how the revolution happens in book and the last version. The animals get so hungry that they just break into the food store themselves without waiting for Jones to feed them. And the revolution ends up kind of happening by accident.
Come on, follow me.
Sorry if you watched this commentary with, right after watching the one I did on the 54 version. I do kind of like them singing while breaking in, even though there isn't much of a logical reason to do that. Since they didn't plan for this to be their revolution, they were just hungry. They break in to find that there's a bear escaped from the circus already in there. Oh, sorry. I meant to knock, but I didn't. I'm a bear.
Wait, do you mind? I'm trying to have my...
Why aren't you a puppet?
Leave it out.
I was saving that? What, all of it? Oh, the goat wouldn't go hungry. The goat would just eat whatever the fuck it finds on the ground. It's a goat!
The humans are coming.
Do they want some too? Gee, Boxer, I know you're not very bright, but... do you hear them humming? Oh, food! Oh, animals like food, don't they? I forgot! I'm not a good farmer.
What's going on in there?
What do you think is going on in there, genius? Don't you raise these things for a living? It's nothing a shotgun can't solve. Maybe this should have been an American farm.
Come on, let's get them.
Scatter! And we all ran in different directions. Like the scene in Ratatouille where the chef comes in. We ran in different directions. God damn it, I tell him to check on the animals and he asserts his Second Amendment rights that he doesn't have because we're not American. This version at least remembers that Jones has farm hands. Unlike the 54 version where he was doing everything solo with his gray Muppet ass. Kill every human you see on sight! I cannot emphasize that enough! This is kind of terrifying. They do the scene where, like, Benjamin rises up behind them in the back seat with a garrote, and then he garrotes Mr. Jones. This could easily be a horror movie, like Day of the Animals, except, like, somehow less crazy. The animals throw up a barricade. Somehow this pub makes it into every version. Wait, is it in the 2026 version? Don't answer that, I don't care. Hi, Jones. What's the matter with you? I don't know if you're gonna believe me if I tell you this. Why are we circling it?
What we do now?
Have you ever seen those videos of like sheep without a shepherd? They just kind of start going in circles because their instinct is to follow whatever sheep is in front of them. So without a shepherd or a sheepdog to guide them, they just can get caught in like a death spiral like the ants.
They're animals. What am I going to do?
Sheep have the reputation they do as mindless followers, kind of for a reason.
You've no
Of course, we bred them to be like that, so.
of your animals has led them to seizing power, an uprising which could easily spread to all our firms.
I completely believe your animals took over your farm story. There is something surreal, like, even though they don't think the animals can talk or are capable of higher thoughts, they're still like, this uprising could endanger us all. Like, you kind of accepted the whole animals are capable of rebellion thing pretty easily.
Do something to speed.
They think they're in Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Moses, what do you want? He already shooed. You were late on your shoe.
And so at last the farm belonged to us, and we were free.
We promptly pissed on everything.
And Snowball would show us the way.
So, remember how I said in the 54 version that they made Snowball a little less sympathetic than he was in the book and like tried to emphasize some of his negative qualities without making him completely evil. This version kind of takes the opposite strategy and makes Snowball more heroic than he was in the book, and his negative attributes from the book are scrubbed away.
They need milking.
Well, I could try.
And since we're talking about stars, you might recognize, yeah, I have no idea how this works. Snowball here is voiced by Kelsey Grammer, whose most famous role is probably Sideshow Bob in The Simpsons. Weird that that's his biggest role. But before that, oh my god, even in the slow res, I could tell the CGI on this rat is not great. I love that he has a Cockney accent. Why do all rats in all media have Cockney accents?
Other than you.
Remember when I was the main character of the last one? I miss that. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, before he was Sideshow Bob, of course, he was Frasier on Cheers, which was a really famous sitcom. CG again.
What are you doing?
I get that, like, probably this is a made-for-TV film. They were probably in a time crunch, which is why they couldn't use the puppets in every place they should have. But, oh man, that CGI is rough.
Animal farm.
So yeah, Kelsey Grammer got, I guess, his first role made famous was as his character named Frasier on Cheers. And the character was so popular that he got his own spin-off just called Frasier. And from there, he went on to be a recurring character on The Simpsons. He's been in lots of other stuff. He's a really great actor, but Sideshow Bob is the thing I think most Americans think of first, if they don't think of Frasier.
What do we do? Steady now, boxer. Let's get Jesse back to the bar.
Oh, she's going into labor. Who's the dad? Is that ever established? Does Jesse even know who the dad is? You minx.
Are you sure you're okay?
Boxer, go with you.
Boxer didn't really have any dialogue in the last adaptation, but giving him like this
You're sure?
I'm sure.
this deep, like, oh gee, Wilbur, kind of voice. Boxer is supposed to be a very sweet and hardworking soul, and I think this voice actor does a good job. Let me look up the name. Wikipedia here. Paul Scofield is Boxer. He's been in a bunch of Shakespeare adaptations. And he was in The Crucible, the 1996 film version. So, very classy actor, looks like. Kind of looks like he died right after he was in this movie.
What's that?
Oh no, he died in 2008.
It's a box where
He was 86.
humans.
Oh. He had a good run. Okay, I need to get off Wikipedia and get back to the movie.
Keeps them quiet.
Could be useful.
Animals, I propose that the farmhouse isn't used, but is preserved as a museum. All those in favor?
What do? We don't know how to vote.
Carried.
I Patrick's do it.
Let's see how the humans lived.
I do kind of like this scene in the 54 version where they like explore without any dialogue, and you just kind of see like these kind of funny scenes of animals reacting to stuff.
Yeah. Animals have to die for humans to sit in comfort.
Wouldn't the dogs already? Well, maybe they're outdoor dogs.
Feathers plucked from animals.
And these shoes! Don't really know what's going on with them. I don't know how shoes are made. I'm a pig. Christ! Oh, the donkey shedding a single tear. Come on, guys. I think this is my favorite room.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Real pig would just start eating if they walked in on this scene. I hate to say it, but I think I said it in the last commentary. Pigs will eat anything that doesn't eat them first. Ah! God, movie, you gotta warn me. You can't just throw... You can't just throw severed heads at me without any warning. Hey, I hope you guys weren't doing anything important when I was being computer generated over here.
We must work quickly. Tell Pincher to meet me in the harness room. This might be a problem.
And they're being kind of obvious in the direction it's supposed to go. It's kind of supposed to be sort of a surprise when Napoleon takes over and House Snowball. But, like, both adaptations, I kind of feel like make it too obvious right away that Napoleon has ill intentions from the start, which you could interpret it as maybe he didn't.
We must always remember what he taught us.
What is important is that we must never come to resist.
Is that we must be based on Winston Churchill, even though we weren't really, actually.
Is an enemy. 2. Whatever goes upon 4 legs or has wings is a friend.
After all, we are animals.
3. No animal shall...
I love how it's very, like, uneven with the letters backwards and shit. Because he, like, just learned how to write.
in a bed.
How did he teach himself to write? Magic, I guess.
5. No animal shall...
This whole... I just noticed that this was a trope, like someone magically teaching themselves to read. It was also a thing in the Tarzan novels and in the Tale of Despero. I never recognized that multiple different movies use that.
Pincher, sit down.
And most importantly...
What are you wearing, man?
Amongst us animals, there must be unity.
Do we really have to flash back to this scene? We just saw it. Like, this movie's not that long. It's an hour and a half. It's a standard for a feature.
I swear on the sacred memory of old Major.
To serve Napoleon before all others.
To serve Napoleon.
Ian Holm also has a great vocal range, too. I don't know how many people realize that he was Chef Skinner in Ratatouille, the short chef who was, like, making frozen food franchises. Ooh, he's here! Ooh!
It is our duty to follow each and every...
Is there a Phantom Rat? Is there not? But I refuse to be sucked into his little game! Like, he can do a pretty great French accent.
We have a harvest to bring in. And let us make
Hey, didn't we agree just to agree not to wear clothes or ribbons? Maybe you'd know that if you were at the meeting, Mr. Slacker. Hey, wait. Just a couple scenes ago, we saw Mr. Jones driving the plow in, like, really uneven lines in a very small field. And now they're bringing in the harvest from a really big field. Where did that come from? What was he gonna sow in the little field?
I must use all my strength.
Like, before, I was just half-assing it whenever I pulled this thing, but now I'm totally pulling it for reals. Hey, he's not helping. How did they... Huh?
The pigs stayed inside the barn, and counted the hay.
Only 25 bales of hay today.
We need more effort.
Another slight change from the book. It's established that right after they included Boxer's catchphrase this time. Well, one of his 2 catchphrases. They established in the book that they bring in the harvest like the morning after overthrowing Jones, and that they are able to like do it faster than he did without him getting in the way. They actually do better without his leadership. Here they're shown that they're struggling without Jones's leadership, which is a choice. Hey Clover, are you going to have any lines in this? I don't know.
Napoleon.
Discuss this with my agent.
Different plans.
And are the puppies weaned yet?
Nearly.
Well, we have milk to feed them.
I guess this dog is the father, if it matters.
Animals are now ready to raise our flag of freedom. Well done, Boxer. I give you the hoof and horn.
Cool design for the flag here, accurate to the book's description. Wait, why is cola spelled with a K there? Oh, it's like the old spelling of cola, back when it was made from cola nuts. So probably a lot of people know this now, but Coca-Cola, the beverage, got its name from 2 of its ingredients, which were cola nuts from Africa and cocaine, which it included in trace amounts. And it was originally sold as like an all-purpose tonic. Like you have a headache, you have a stomach ache, you need some energy in the morning, drink Coca-Cola. Eventually they realized that when its health claims were disproven, that it... Oh, Guinness sign. Fancy a Guinness? That Coca-Cola had, commercial potential as a sugary drink. So remember when I said in the last commentary that Mr. Frederick, the other farmer in this, is based off Hitler? I think you could see from the way that guy looks that
My farm, there are no weak men.
Obviously, the animals are...
they're taking that to heart with Mr. Frederick in this version.
I'll rip his drunken throat.
We need information on what's going on.
Hitler was capable of communicating in ways other than threats and screaming. The threats and screaming are what he's most famous for, with reason, but.
But we could listen in.
What do they think they're going to get from listening in on animals' meetings? They don't know that they can talk. None of the animals can detect them doing this. Don't animals have better senses than ours? Sticking that freaking microphone in there. We'll listen in on them with our drone technology. Is there a scene like that in the 26th version? Because I kind of hope there is. We are listening. Pig grunting. I don't know what I expected.
G, B, C.
Oh.
All right, we'll leave that for now and go back to our discussion on...
Yeah, Snowball attempting to teach them to read.
Suspect that all was not
How could he can just magically teach himself to read and they can't? See, when you introduce more logical bits like this, it makes the allegorical stuff like that. You're like, hey, wait a minute. It's like how the Walker brothers pointed out that, like, a lot of the Disney remakes will try to be, like, more logical or plug up plot holes, but it only leads to you asking more questions.
Thinking clearly, then you would be pleased at the special education that we're going to give them. You surely don't want to disadvantage your own puppies, do you?
See what I was saying about Squealer? Surely you trust your children with us, don't you? Would you like to see a dead body?
To the other animals.
Not if we distract them.
Well, let's invade Iran! I'm sorry. Was that too on the nose? It probably was.
I'd like is who keeps stealing the milk and apples. That's what I call knowledge. Share and share alike. Isn't that animalism? Well,
Hey, you broke into the barn ahead of everyone else. You shut up. But yeah, where's the milk and apples, bro?
apples. Who has the milk and apples?
Attica! Attica! They used television to distract them. Okay, that's pretty clever. I do actually like that change. I don't know why I keep saying TV is not an element at all in the original story, probably because of when it came out. It was written in 43, and, like, I don't think was published until, like, 48 or 46 or something. So, like, you know, TV wasn't really a thing. People still got their news from going to the movie theater. But them bringing in the media to distract people from, like, from troubling political news. Like, hey, wait a minute, the pigs are stealing the... Ooh, TV. They actually made the same satirical point in the Lego movie. And I remember thinking, like, the moment where Emmett, played by Chris Pratt, is distracted from the put-to-sleep line from President Business by the TV show Where Are My Pants? And he's like, what was I thinking about just now? I don't care. That's when I realized Lego Movie was different. That movie was a lot smarter than maybe it had any right to be. Lego Movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. I will not apologize for that. I love how they distracted them. And they, like, needed time so that Squealer could come up with an excuse. And I also kind of like Napoleon acting like he's Snowball's friend and backing him up and, like... Snowball actually thanking him for distracting the animals from that uncomfortable question. So I do like them, like, including the element of Snowball is actually holding some level of privilege over the other animals, too.
Then for all our sakes, we will continue to drink the milk and eat the apples.
I do, even though he comes across as maybe too creepy to be believable. I do think that Squealer's portrayal here is a bit closer to the book.
Boxer, the pigs always tell us what to do, what to think.
We must have leaders.
But what if they're wrong?
I thought the whole point of communism, I mean animalism, yes, was that everyone is equal.
Totally believed in Napoleon. He just wanted to do right.
What's this rubbish? It's not rubbish. I've heard my animals sound like that. There's a pattern to it, like they're singing. Listen.
Oh, you're bonkers. Got it.
Code. Something.
Like, this is hilarious, right? I'm not alone in having that reaction to a bunch of farmers listening to animals bleating and going, that means something.
We invade.
We attack at sunrise!
It will only be a matter of time before the humans invade.
You think so?
Yeah!
What do we do?
Defend ourselves, of course. This is my plan.
It's kind of weird to hear Patrick Stewart going like, what if they attack us? What do we do? It's like, oh. Tell Sulu to press buttons. Wait, no, Sulu wasn't on your crew. I'm confusing my Star Trek references.
What if they change direction?
Then we'll make another.
No, I'm scared.
On all the animals in place.
How will I, Patrick Stewart, deal with the combat situation? I have no idea.
He has taken off. Jesse's marshalling the sheep. Good.
Yo, the Enterprise sure has a lot of weaponry for an organization that's supposed to be completely peaceful. They ride in on a tractor. This movie's kind of funny. At first. People who are accusing the 26 version of being lowbrow, they're right, but you also gotta remember that this scene where the birds shit upon the farmers during their attempt to take back the farm is straight from the book. That George Orwell wrote that. Maybe I can find the part where he wrote it. Once again, we have geese getting shot in this version. The last adaptation also had that.
As long as we stay up here, we'll be safe. Let Snowball lead the charge.
Would you like to, I don't know, graze on some of this grass? There are shots in this film where the pigs aren't eating anything. Very unrealistic. Okay, yeah, I found it. Chapter 4. As the human beings approached the farm building, Snowball launched his first attack. All the pigeons, to the number of 35, flew to and fro over the men's heads and muted upon them from midair. Muted being code for shitting. I actually had a bird shit on my head just a couple weeks ago. Rude. It's not even the first time that's happened to me. In the name of puppetry, we will destroy you! Where's that, like, gif of, like, Peter from the Chronicles of Narnia film going, "For Animal Farm!" Where's the scene of them knocking the farmers off a cliff? Thus beginning Cruella de Vil's Start of Darkness. Even the rat is helping. Is that Mr. Frederick going up his pant leg? You know, considering the Nazis, like, with all their, like... Oh, dear! Yeah, that's Snowball getting shot. Something else that was in the last adaptation, and the book. So I was about to say about the rat attacking Mr. Frederick. You know, the Nazis and a lot of their anti-Semitist propaganda compared Jewish people to rats. Like in their really famous propaganda film, Triumph of the Will, which I think is the most famous of their various propaganda films. They make the rat comparison very explicitly. So having a rat attack Mr. Frederick, I think, might have been kind of a reference to that. Like, I'll show you what a real rat does, motherfucker! Isn't there also, like, a comic about, like, the Holocaust called Mouse, where the Jewish people are rodents and the Nazis are mice? That's my understanding of what that comic's about. I've never actually read it. Well, we didn't take back the farm and we're covered in shit. I say it's a good day. Who's ready to hit the pub?
We might have to join them.
I'm going to crawl on all fours and eat slop from a trough. This is a bit from the book where a boxer kicks a stable boy in the head, seemingly killing him.
I wish to take life, not even human life.
But he's all right. Look, he's moving.
And the guy surviving being kicked in the head by a horse is also from the book, which I found one of the harder to believe bits. Out of all the bits of animals organizing and learning to read and learning to vote and shit, it's a guy surviving being kicked in the head by a Clydesdale that I have a hard time believing.
Yes, he was the bravest of us all. He's an animal hero, first class.
No, there was no one braver than Snowball.
Snowball, 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 Snowball.
My friends, we are all heroes. And we
Except for me and Squealer.
today, every October,
I mean, including me and Squealer, yes.
and the firing of this gun.
I could just imagine Patrick Stewart waking up in the morning after doing a recording session doing that voice like, oh, I am a horse. Which is weird because I voice a pig. I love the sheep just bleating the last name they hear. Very on point with your satire there. Boom! Hoo-wah! Are they erecting a flag?
Snowball continued to try to improve our lives, and soon came up with a new scheme.
Even with the pigs are hoarding the milk and apples, Jesse is still framing Snowball in a very positive light. And the way he seemed reluctant to admit that the pigs are taking the apples and milk almost sounds, and this is just me interpreting a performance based on puppetry and Kelsey Grammer's voice, but it almost sounds like he felt guilty that they were hoarding that. Like he was overruled by the other pigs on that.
We must send our pigeons out.
Or maybe he was just guilty, but he did go along with it, but he feels shitty. Kind of like I do whenever I finish off a bag of Hostess donuts by
All
myself.
those in favor of Napoleon? And all those in favor of Snowball.
Animals, think of the benefits of a windmill. Yes,
It seems like you're voting for both things. We need voting machines.
They have to work only 3 days a week. Now, all those in favor.
I vote for the puppet on the left. This thing about Napoleon pissing on the plans is also straight from the book. Jesse, you were wondering where your puppies were. Here they are. Are you expecting me to believe those puppies are all from the same litter? They're clearly all different dogs. So this is the big turning point where Napoleon chases Snowball away. I don't remember if they show Snowball dying in this version.
My puppies had become Napoleon's servants.
No, it doesn't look like they do. It's just Snowball leaves and they don't see him again, like it happened in the book. As I pointed out in my last commentary, Snowball is based on a historical figure named Leon Trotsky, who was Stalin's rival for leadership of the Communist Party after Lenin's passing. After he was driven out of the country by Stalin, he lived for a few years in exile before being assassinated by a Stalinist agent in 1940.
In fact, it was his own idea. He used it to flush out Snowball for the traitor he is. Tactics, friends.
There will be
God, that smile is so creepy. I love it.
a special committee.
Just imagine Ian Holmes, getting way too close to you and putting his fingers on your arm going, "Tactics, friends." Ian, please. Ew. Why is Napoleon so gooey?
I will tell you of our plan for the windmill.
It will be to wipe my mouth. Seriously, I am disgusting. I mean, I know I'm a pig, but oh my god. Sorry, my dad's
It
texting
was a
me.
slow, laborious process. And we were watched at all times. It was Boxer's great strength that really made the difference.
So having one of the characters in the,
Each and every one of
on the
us
farm be the narrator instead of just an all-knowing narrator, like in the book in the last adaptation,
very slow.
could work, but I feel like it's not adding a ton here. And it's not because the voice actress, she's doing a great job. She does, a very, likable and soulful Jessie, but I don't know. Also, since they're using real animals for a lot of these shots, you don't really get the feeling like they're slaving over building the windmill like they are in the book and came across in the animation in the 54 version. It just looks like they're just doing animal things. Maybe I'm hard-hearted or something, but when I see a horse pulling a plow or a carriage, I'm not, oh, that poor horse having to slave away like that. I'm just thinking, yeah, it's a horse. You guys are still listening to animals on the radio? So for some reason now...
They can talk. They can trade.
You got over the whole holy shit, livestock can talk thing really fast. It's they can talk. This changes things. And is not...
And what's he done with it? Ruined
And will not lead to me questioning the way I view the world in any way.
to turn your father's prosperous farm into a debt-ridden, crumbling piece of rubbish. Very clever. You can't talk to me like that. Yes, I can.
You can't say very clever when laying out the allegory in such black and white terms, like I'm doing.
Washed up, dead in the water. Are these words sinking in?
So where's the scene where the animals lead Jones and his wife aside and shoot them? Because I seem to recall that that's what happened. Oh, whatever. I'm sad.
That's strange. There's someone in the house.
Jesse, we can see that the light of the house is on. You don't have to spell it out for us. Anybody who's watching an Animal Farm movie is a dummy, right? We have to clearly lay out everything. I love Squealer and the monocle. So Napoleon and Squealer are fucking, right? Like, I know it's weird to ship characters in frickin' Animal Farm, but like, they are way too close.
Poppy, stop that! Stop it, I'm your mother, now stop it! Stop it!
Puppies, off to bed with you.
They don't look like they're barking at her threateningly. They're just kind of wagging their tails.
This area's out of bounds.
I love the head tilt.
Nothing. I was just walking and then the dogs came at me.
Have you seen anything of interest on your walk?
No.
Like, no, I definitely didn't see a pig wearing a
Get
monocle.
back to the barn.
So one bit of criticism I do remember from the IMDb reviews I looked at is that people,
Strange noises.
the animals in this version seem like, and I get it's being narrated from, yeah, I also don't like that we actually see Snowball adding to the laws here. Remember that visual in the 54 version where they see that the law that says no animal shall sleep in a bed now says no animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets, but you can see that the paint on the words with sheets is still wet and dripping? That was a really smart way to get that across. Like, the rules are being altered as they go. Whereas in this version, actually seeing Snowball write it and like narrating aloud what he's doing is another way that I think this movie is being too obvious. Like, we're not dumb. Please stop underestimating our intelligence. But I was going to say earlier, as one of the complaints with this, is that it's not believable that these Napoleons, these animals would just kind of like go along with Napoleon seizing power. Because in the book and in the cartoon, you kind of get the feeling like the animals like don't really know how a democracy works. They don't really know that it's not normal to not follow Napoleon as he rises to power. And here, the animals, and at least Jesse, our narrator, do seem like they realize that the pigs are overstepping. So why don't they just overthrow them? There's a lot more of them than there are of the pigs.
The pigs were now living in the house.
I get that they have the dogs on their side, but like Boxer could just like step on them.
Had been made in his honor and placed near the barn.
Today marks the beginning of a new direction.
Dictators love big statues.
Animal Farm cannot
So do wannabes.
to improve our quality of life.
Ha, giant golden statue totally isn't idolatrous, even though it's idolatrous according to every definition of the Bible and also outside the Bible. It's not!
Never engage in trade.
It's always the same. What goes around comes around.
None of this.
Benjamin's personality is a little more accurate to the book in this version than the 54 version, but he's not as prominent in the 54 version. He just once in a while says something,
Pigs dead
but for the most part just kind of stands aside saying nothing.
place where old Major had fallen.
Our revolution continues.
And them just painting the spot refill like it's a Looney Tunes gag. The tone of this movie is very confusing.
Pincher.
And he pulls down the tarp and reveals... Ah! Ah! God damn it, movie!
Only criminals would fear old Major's presence.
So them displaying Major's remains as like this totem of worship is from the book. It wasn't in the 54 film. And it's based on, in the Soviet Union, how they displayed Lenin's preserved remains for public viewing. China, they did the same thing with Mao. I don't remember if I told the story already, but I actually saw Mao on display when I was in China back in 2010. It's part of like a trip with Duke Tip. It's like a college program for high school students.
Mr. N. You know you can trust me. I mean, I never wanted to...
Do I? Because you just attacked, last time I saw you were driving away from the farm covered in shit.
Jones is our enemy.
And I am your friend. Oh, got a bottle of whiskey for you.
If I were trying to bribe a pig, I would give him, I don't know, corn husks.
Now, to business.
A bucket full of compost. I would not give it whiskey.
Any good price?
There is a YouTube video I remember seeing years ago of someone's pet pig who got into their liquor cabinet and was like stumbling around drunkenly. It was pretty hilarious.
Sleeping in the beds.
No.
Now it's against the commandment.
No animal shall sleep in a bed.
Yes, that's right. That's the one.
My friends, let me
I couldn't help but overhear.
as you know.
Would anyone like to see a dead
brains of
body?
the farm, and we must have a quiet
Look at the
place
bowler hat.
for all your sakes. Surely you don't want your glorious leader to live in a sty?
I like living in a sty. Pipe down, boxer. I'm talking.
Sleep in beds. But why not?
I love Moses taking a sip from Napoleon's. Bull could reference how Stalin actually became kind of cozy, or at least tolerant of the church, because it helped him, you know, keep the people complacent, even though he said he was against the church from the beginning. Because Moses, like I said in the book, represents the church. However, they're gonna fuck up that symbolism later.
No animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets.
You see, it's a command.
I actually kind of prefer that scene if they see it says with sheets and we didn't see the scene of Squealer changing it. Because then the audience, the gaslighting might even kind of work on the audience if they weren't already familiar with the story, which chances are they are. They would be like, hey, wait, did it say with sheets earlier? You would like kind of have to question yourself, and since this aired on television in 1999, you couldn't rewind it, so you couldn't check. But no, they showed the scene of Squealer changing it, kind of ruined it. See what I mean about this version kind of not being great in some choices? Though, since the 26 version came out, it did have a lot of people coming back to this version going really like, I misjudged you. At least you were trying to tell an Animal Farm story. Unlike the new version, which definitely lost the plot somewhere. I don't feel like what Andy Serkis, who directed that version, pitched the film as is what we got on screen. I think he actually envisioned like a really cool and dark animated version of Animal Farm, but through executive meddling, what we got is what we got. I did see an advertisement recently for a film, I guess in celebration of America's 250th anniversary, which, in light of all the bullshit you might have forgotten is this year, called Young Washington, I guess a biopic about George Washington. But that's being released by Angel Studios, and I kind of get the feeling like Angel Studios is eager to move on from Animal Farm. They're like, please forget we had anything to do with that movie. Watch this instead. We can go back to pushing faith-based MAGA shit, or whatever we normally do. Weirdly, this version seems to have kept the bit from the 54 adaptation of Jones blowing up the windmill, which, like I said in the last commentary, was not the case. The windmill was blown up by Mr. Frederick's men during the attack. In fact, based on some reviews I've seen, Mr. Frederick's attack on the farm is left out of this version entirely. They just have Mr. Frederick attack with Mr. Pilkington. Which is very weird considering, like, they style Mr. Frederick to look like Hitler. Like, they clearly know what he allegorically represents, but they left out him betraying and attacking the farm like Hitler attacked Russia?
Our windmill was ruined.
Oh, honey, it was ruined when you built it.
But Napoleon seemed triumphant.
Yeah, I did just do the head motion you're visualizing.
Do you know?
I do kind of like that the windmill in this version looks really shitty. Like, it really was put together by a bunch of animals who don't know what they're doing. Whereas in the 54 version, while the blueprints for the windmill look shitty, the actual built windmill looked perfectly fine.
I pronounce the death sentence on Snowball. We will teach this traitor that he cannot undo our work so easily.
Great. So where's the scene that they cut from the 54 version of the dog assassinating Snowball?
Rain or shine, food or none.
I love, like, Jessie just tilting her head constantly when the pigs are talking. I do kind of miss animal movies being made with real animals, even though I know why practically that's kind of fallen out of fashion, because animals are fucking hard to direct. It's a well-known adage in Hollywood, never work with kids or animals. But I do kind of miss that you could, like, get a bunch of animals together and film something with them, like the animal trainers and such.
Our longing for a better society. But as
Right.
that society is now established, the song no longer has any meaning.
Them banning the song just suddenly like this doesn't have the same punch as them banning it right after a bunch of animals are executed. But don't worry, we will get to the animal execution. That is still gonna happen in this. And I actually remember it being the most disturbing part of the film, at least for me. But we're not there yet. I love that they do include the new song that they sing in favor of Napoleon, something that was left out of the 54 version. And I do love that they make the song sound lamer than Beasts of England, or whatever the equivalent is called in this version. The trough is empty. The trough is empty is like... I just said it just now, but it is like a good symbol of everything going wrong here, isn't it? Meanwhile, the trough is empty. Or the trough is hella expensive. $4 a gallon? Are you kidding me? Yes! Our glorious... Oh my god, there's like... Mr. Jones's truck is in there. Now we just need to add the kitchen sink. You think it was written on Snowball's blueprints? Make sure it looks like dog shit. Yep, so like in the book, it shows Boxer working all hours, even when the other animals aren't working to get this thing built. Hey, I see a grain. You want to split it with me?
I'm sorry, Boxer, but I don't think we're going to get any.
Wait, was Jessie eating from the trough? She's a dog. A dog can't survive on that stuff. Not for very long, anyway. Is Napoleon losing weight, or am I crazy?
Animal Hero First Class and Animal Hero Second Class will now speak.
He gave himself both classes. See, they're wearing ribbons. He's wearing medals now.
He's still visiting the farm.
Is he?
I haven't seen him.
I love Benjamin's like, I don't believe you, but I'm not going to speak up about it because why bother? Benjamin and Eeyore need to get together and be depression buddies. I can make him worse. Thanks for noticing. So they're doing the bit where Napoleon basically turns Snowball, who is still in exile, into the boogeyman and blaming him for every single thing that goes wrong on the farm. Oh, and the bit of the Ukrainian rebellion when he's telling the chickens to give up their eggs.
Our glorious leader.
I do! Well, in this version, the chickens rebel immediately. They don't even wait.
All hens are criminals! No hen will be fed! Any animal seen giving food to a hen will be punished by death!
Couldn't the hens just leave and hunt snakes or something? Chickens are another animal that will eat anything that doesn't eat them first. They don't show the scene of the hens smashing their eggs. Oh wait, here it is. Why are you laying them on me? What did I do? I'm still gonna eat this though. I mean, I won't eat it for no reason.
This is so wrong. What have we done?
Is so wrong? You don't support the chickens' rebellion? So him saying that none of the chickens get to eat, like I said in the last version, is based on the Holodomor, which is a famine that Ukraine went through as a consequence of Soviet policies. The theory among a lot of historians is that the Soviets caused the Holodomor on purpose to punish the Ukrainians for rebelling. However, it is kind of an up in question. Some people think that actually the Soviets accidentally started the Ukrainians because they're just that bad at everything, and the historical debate goes on. I'm not a historian by any means, so I don't know which theory is more plausible, but I will say what I said in the last commentary. Russia's been doing bad things to Ukraine for a long time. I also like that in this version, Napoleon is making propaganda films. Which is ironic, considering the last adaptation of this was itself a propaganda farm, but never mind. Oh yeah, this is the scene, the executions. instead of them executing them live, they filmed it and then showed it to them afterwards, so there's nothing they can do about it. Yep. Choke on this, animal lovers. A bunch of chickens and rats getting the gallows. That upset me so much as a kid. Like, I'm laughing, but it's an uncomfortable laugh. That imagery of, like, the rat on the noose, it stayed with me for life. I still remember that shit. Is this what they call a core memory?
First class.
I have a voice for radio. What, did they fall asleep in front of the film? The sight of your fellow animals being destroyed, that boring?
Thanks to the leadership of our beloved Napoleon, this grass tastes better than ever.
The grass that you can't see, because this is a black and white film.
It's good night from me. Good night.
The pigs were behaving more and more like Farmer Jones.
Oh, yep, that's just like Farmer Jones, isn't it? It's British dinner, again. Sorry, my dog wants attention. This scene where the animals actually catch Squealer after he fell off the ladder from changing the laws is from the book. And I do kind of like the way they do it here. Because they do it that, I don't remember if it was because of this in the book, but they do it that he fell because he's, you know, drunk. He's all hungover the next morning. So the animals struggling with, like, drunkenness and hangovers after their first taste of liquor is also from the book. This scene, again, would work better if we hadn't seen the earlier scene of Squealer changing the laws the first time. If we just saw him in this position the next morning.
Come quick. Napoleon says he's dying.
Squealer's not quite the comedic goofball he was in the last adaptation, but he does have some moments.
Life was bleak. But
You could tell Fred Boxer wheezing horribly.
what happened next?
Chubbs, are you snorting into the mic? Do you want to? Snort into the mic. Can you hear him? Chubbs is the name of my French bulldog, in case you're like new here and you don't know that. He is my precious baby boy. I love him. No, there goes Boxer. We're not far from the end now, folks.
We were on our way home when a duck brought us the news.
Ferdinand?
Jesse!
Oh, you're not Ferdinand.
Boxer's fallen by the windmill. He's on his side.
Boxer has fallen! I, Starscream, now lead... Wait.
Tell Napoleon.
I've confused myself again. No, Napoleon is the last person you want to tell, and you should know that. He stole your puppies.
Never goes hungry. Say after me. I believe in the sugarlums that grow on trees. I believe in...
I do love that they have Moses sermonizing over Boxer's fallen body. That's a really nice touch.
I can't breathe.
Remember the symbolism? Moses is the church. Instead of helping Boxer, he gets up there and starts talking about a paradise called Sugar Mountain, which animals will go to after they die. At first, in the book, Napoleon chases Moses away whenever he starts talking about Sugar Mountain, referencing how the Stalin regime tried to crack down on religion as being of the old Russia, not the new Russia. But eventually Napoleon stops trying to chase Moses away and just lets him keep sermonizing without raising a fuss, which shows how later Stalin went on to like be more tolerant of the church for keeping people complacent, like I said earlier. Sorry if I'm repeating myself a lot. It's sometimes hard to like remember what I said in this commentary versus the last one versus what I haven't said at all. It does kind of bother me that they show Jesse attending to Boxer in this version. Aside from Benjamin, who was kind of like, Boxer was like Benjamin's only real friend.
Loyal worker, treated in hospital.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so kind of you, Squealer. I completely trust you telling me that in that voice.
But I don't think I should leave him.
You fucking... It's not the same voice, but it's like the same inflection as the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Treacle Tots, all free today. Boxer, when you die, can I have your right flank? I'm so hungry. Nobody's bought any kibble since the revolution.
You're going to be fine. You're going to the hospital and they'll make you better. Come on, you must use
And Benjamin's like, no, he won't.
I know, my friend. Please, do it.
In a real farm, they wouldn't sell him to the knacker. They would just come in with a shotgun and shoot.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, I'll try.
How I hate him. Benjamin doesn't give a shit. The bond between Benjamin and Boxer didn't really make it in this adaptation, did it? Or maybe it did in one of the scenes where I was yapping. You'll have to tell me. Yup, this is the ambulance for the vet. That's definitely what this is.
To summon up the last of his strength.
Even though it looks like a perfectly normal horse just walking into a room.
Something smelled wrong. It made us nervous.
To be fair, the smell of the vet also makes animals nervous.
The words on the van.
S-E-T.
Horse slaughter. They're taking him to the glue.
Horse laughterer? I love to laughterer.
Boxer, get out! Boxer!
They do keep the bit of Benjamin being the one to recognize the words on the side of the van.
Get your way out!
This is really heart-wrenching in the book, where basically all of the animals in the on the farm running after the truck and shouting at Boxer to kick his way out, which he can't quite do because he's too weak. Interestingly, this version also had it be a truck to carry away Boxer and not a horse-drawn carriage like in the book. I guess by that point, motor cars. By the late 90s, we were kind of over horse-drawn things for actual work. Though, at least for actual, like, vehicles that weren't just entertaining tourists in New York or whatever.
It's expensive.
Use all the money.
Certainly, my friend.
It seems like Mr. Oh, what's his name? The go-between that they used for trade. The human guy that the pigs use for trade in the book has been replaced utterly with Mr. Pilkington, who is the one who handles all the pigs' like trade needs, which is kind of confusing. With that, Mr. Pilkington is supposed to represent FDR, so whatever.
Well, you could put the wrong right.
Yes, you're right.
Muriel won't last much longer, and there are others.
Then we must save them.
So this is where this is one of the changes that gets a lot of ire from people, where Jesse comes up with a plan to get a whole bunch of the animals together and just leave the farm. Interestingly, the scene of Molly leaving the farm earlier on was removed. They did have Molly and have a pretty big name voicer, so I'm kind of thinking that maybe Molly's exit scene got removed in editing. Sorry about that, Julia. It happens. So this is the point where Jesse says, like, after Boxer's death, is like, that's it, we gotta get the fuck out of here. I do kind of buy that. That Boxer's death being the last straw in that way. People kind of misremember the 54 version and think that Boxer's death is what inspired the animals and Benjamin to rebel in that version, but no, years go by in between Boxer's death and when Benjamin leads the animals to overthrow the pigs. It's the pigs all meeting with each other and deciding to spread Napoleon-style tyranny to other farms. That's what makes Benjamin overthrow them in that version. But like I said, the ending of the 54 version was more of the CIA's prediction of how Stalin would fall one day, whereas the ending in this version is based more on what were at the time recent historical events of the Soviet Union's fall.
Delighted to join you for a...
And it also makes sense that this version would maybe play animals actually leaving the farm more sympathetically than the book did, whereas the book kind of views Molly, the horse, as a traitor for leaving early on, whereas a modern reader could easily see Molly, read the book and think, Molly was the smart one. She got out where she still could.
I've heard such a lot about you, Mr. N.
Is Mrs. Pilkington trying to seduce Napoleon? Please don't go into bestiality.
Quiet!
You're letting him drink all our whiskey.
If you're not quiet, I'll stick you on the flagpole forever!
a toast.
Wait, you're actually drinking out of the...
Allow me.
I do kind of like Napoleon drinking whiskey like a human, and Mr. Pilkington, a human, drinking from a big bowl of slop like a pig. And like the window distorting them so they kind of look similar. Doug Walker did praise this bit in his midnight review of the 26 version with Brad Jones. And it is kind of like a good way to get the visual across in the book, with the animals looking from pig to man and man to pig, and they can't tell the difference between them. Like seeing their faces distorted through the window to look more like men, to make the Mr. Pilkington more like a pig and Napoleon look more like a man, is a really clever way to get that across. And him changing the name of the farm back to Manor Farm is also from the book, really showing how the revolution has gone full circle.
I can't tell the difference between them.
They're both so ugly. The visible hole in the silhouette they painted of Old Major is also a nice touch.
All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
They kind of got rid of the symbolism here.
Come on. We should leave while we still can.
Oh, in fact, we could have left at any point. Why didn't we? In the 54 version, they show, like, Napoleon's dogs sitting, like, at the entryway to, like, was clearly, like, a barbed wire fence. Like, making it clear that the animals can't leave. But in this version, like, there's no reason they couldn't just lift. I do love this Ballad to Napoleon in this film here. New banner replacing the old flag. Oh no, the old flag's still there. Horrible CG ducks! I do kind of like this film tried to incorporate, like, the propaganda machine. Exalting Napoleon, which did play a big part in what kept the animals complacent in the book. And what keeps, subjugated people complacent in real life. See, it does what, like, a propaganda march is supposed to do. It's, like, stirring, it's catchy, it gets your blood pumping. I also love this visual of Napoleon in the suit standing on two legs. It's both disturbing and absurd. So, quite a bit of time has passed in between this film and the 54 version. World War II is becoming a more and more distant memory. But even so, when you turn a farm into the Third Reich, turning 4 legs good and 2 legs better into like a militaristic chant is also really good. Like, hell yeah.
This farm will now devote itself to the making of weapons. To
What?
walls.
Build the wall!
All animals are now free!
And they like fly in the V formation like they're jets, with jet noises. This is kind of the film's best scene. They're making weapons. And if you're wondering, that's not in the book. I think Napoleon has kind of lost track of what a farm is.
Seasons came and went. And we
So, Jesse leads Benjamin Muriel and a bunch of other animals off the farm. And there's Clover. And they just kind of hide and wait, keeping an eye on the farm from a distance until this happens.
The years passed. We grew old, but we still waited. Waited for what surely must pass. Waited for Napoleon's cruelty and greed to bleed the farm to death.
So they just wait for Napoleon to fail. Remember, only 7 years after the Soviet Union fell is when this movie came out. It just...
And now with the coming
I remember, like, being struck as a kid by how eerie the farm's fall is. You don't see any bodies anywhere except for Moses. It's pretty hard to miss. Like, no trace of Napoleon, no trace of Squealer, no trace even of the humans. The farm is completely empty, and things are just falling over. Where did everybody go?
A victim of his own madness. What of the others? After
They
all
look to
we
see if there's
did,
anybody left alive.
I needed to believe.
Her stepping on the laws of animalism is a nice touch. Pig statue.
Could this be the same place where old Major had spoken of his dream? Where we had worked so hard for a better life? All that was left was
See, this voice actress is really putting her all into it.
who had suffered.
Yep, there's Moses. That Napoleon actually did have Moses hang from the flagpole, like he threatened, kind of gets in the way of the whole Stalin cozying with the church thing. Like, I don't recall. I'm not sure what the allegory is there. Kind of confusing it. It's the one puppy that's left. Is it okay if I call you Mom? Man, we don't talk about Babe